What if you were to listen to an internationally acclaimed, multi-award-winning illusionist, and he had something far more to say than, "Watch this trick"? Rick Thomas is that performer, ready to go far beyond his magic and far beyond your imagination as he shares secrets regarding our dreams. Dreams that can become reality. The future belongs to those who believe in the strength of their dreams. Dreams pass into the reality of action. From the action stems the dream again. And this interdependence produces the highest form of living. Join Rick and his co-host, award-winning broadcaster Tammy Trujillo, for Nothing Happens Until You Dream. Indulge your mind and take a journey never to be forgotten. A journey connecting all of our dreams as we chase them together.
Rick, I have to catch up on something. I screwed up on my calendar and I missed your birthday. So happy belated birthday to you, Rick.
Oh, you barely missed it. It's fine and dandy. I mean, I appreciate it. I don't handle birthday celebrations anyway, so thank you. I appreciate it, and it's actually a perfect time for us to talk about this particular chapter in the Tiger Whisker, because it's all about celebrating the right person. Mm-hmm. And you may scratch your head when I tell you about celebration and birthdays, but I've always felt that the wrong person is celebrated. We'll get into it in just a moment, but mine was a very quiet birthday this year, and it was appreciated.
What did you do? What do you guys?
I simply, first of all, Tara made sure that I did not work.
Okay.
That's difficult for me. I will always try and work when I shouldn't on my birthday. Mm-hmm. And then we simply spent time with family and a few friends out to dinner. It was a great day, so it's appreciated. And I will do a shout out to Tara. She has, in the past, created amazing birthdays for me. She's gone out of her way to do wonderful things, and I have not applauded her or thanked her enough for what she did, simply because I don't handle being celebrated on my birthday very well. Not that I don't mind getting older. It's just that I feel that when we're born, mm-hmm. we do very little ourselves to get here, and it's all about the mother.
It's true.
I celebrate my mother on my birthday, and I make sure that she is the one that's celebrated, that she is one that is gifted, that I give something to my mother on my birthday, and that that celebration is about her. And the other thing that probably put my mind in that directive was I'm very lucky in my career. Every day I am applauded. There are accolades. People scream and yell in the show. They are pleased with what they see. They put me up on a pedestal, so to speak, because of my performances. And I go out after the shows and I greet everybody as they leave. And it's literally all about me. It's constant. It's in my face. It's mm-hmm. what I do. And almost like on my birthday, I'm not doing anything. Remember, I just told you I didn't do anything to get there.
Right.
And for that reason, I know I should be celebrated, so to speak, because that's what it is. But I just would rather not be celebrated because I didn't do anything to get there. Does that make sense? Does that kind of help you understand where my thought process is?
Because it's exactly where mine is. Now, I want to hear more about the celebrating mom, but I have never been a big birthday person. I kind of prefer people don't know when my birthday is because I don't like that big hoopla. It makes me feel uncomfortable. My only rule on my birthday is I do not go to work. I will take a sick day, a vacation day. I will vanish and do whatever it is I do. Mm-hmm. And even when you go to a restaurant and you've signed up for their loyalty program or whatever, and you get your free birthday dessert or something, every time we've gone and gotten those, Randy always makes sure to tell the server, okay, now it's her birthday and she gets the free cake, but we do not want a song. We do not want a parade. We do not want a hurrah. Just bring her her cake and leave her alone.
Right. Well, I think it's maybe because of the scenario or the situation we're in our lives and how we are in the public eye mm-hmm. constantly. And we just kind of want to, kind of be incognito, just kind of quiet about it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that this is the right mindset for everyone.
No.
Most people want to be celebrated mm-hmm. on their birthday. They live a life where they're not acknowledged as much as they should be, and it gives them that day to truly celebrate themselves and go for it and have a blast. There are friends of mine who believe that their birthday should be an entire month.
No, thank you. I know those people.
You know those people?
Right? Yes. No,
it's
thanks.
my birthday month.
No,
Okay.
no. You did not get born over a month. You got born on a day. Sorry.
Right. And there's something that happens in my shows often. I will get notes backstage, and it will say, this husband and wife, it's their 50th anniversary today. Make sure you announce them in the show. And then I'll get another note and say, this is John's 30th birthday. Make sure you announce him in the show. And I'll get these announcements to announce birthdays in my show. And because of my mentality, because of a little bit of tongue-in-cheek, I go out there and sometimes I will announce their birthdays. Usually I will say no. It's beyond me that somebody has to have their announcement of their birthday in my show. But when I do, I usually turn to the person and say, well, it's John's birthday today. And John, just so you're aware, everybody has one.
Oh.
And I do. Now I say it in a kind way, and we always get a bit of laughter. But the point is, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So please accept my apology if you ever feel thwarted by me not acknowledging your birthday as much as I should. But my reason for literally making sure that people are celebrated is oftentimes some of the people who should be aren't. And that, in my opinion, as far as birthday goes, are mothers. And yes, we have a Mother's Day, and yes, we have a Father's Day. But on your birthday, you should take that opportunity to send your mother flowers or give her a gift or make a phone call to her and tell her how grateful you are for what she did to bring you here upon this earth that we live. So that's kind of how I look at it. And I would just say, everybody out there, celebrate your birthday as you so desire. However, if your mother is still here, do yourself a favor and take a moment and thank the one who brought you life to this earth. Just because. Turn it around for just a moment. Call your mother and thank her for doing what she's done.
I
for
like
you and your
that.
life.
I
So there you
like
go.
that. Because they're the ones who went through 9 months of carrying this watermelon around, which was known as you. Not you, but whomever. Okay. And then now I've never had kids. Okay. But I've always thought about that big finale that became your birthday. I'm thinking, oh my goodness. I don't know that I could ever have gotten through that if I'd chosen to have a child. They went through a lot to get you here. They did. My goodness.
It'll also make your birthday a bit more special. That I can promise you. Because you're turning your heart to somebody else on a very important day, your birthday.
You make it kind of a dual day. I think that would be neat to celebrate it with your mom because it was kind of a partnership there. So I like that.
So that's my thing. And
like
that goes in many ways. In fact, I do want during this discussion to talk about fathers as well and what they bring to the table and some experiences that I've had in my life. It centers around my show. I have learned so many amazing things by watching other people, learning from them, whether they knew I was watching them or not. And that's one story I'm about to tell. So before we move on, do you have any other thoughts or questions before we discuss something further?
Well, you're going to teach me all about dads because I didn't know my dad. So there is an area where I am very devoid of that because I didn't know my father. So I know you were very close to your dad, and your dad, I never got to meet your father, but he sounds like such an amazing guy, and he taught you guys, all of the kids, all but 6? Yeah, I thought
children.
So. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something about my father. What I appreciate and what I've even passed on to my children in talking to them about their grandfather, that he really worked hard at trying to follow his dreams. And I can tell you in all honesty, many of those dreams never came to fruition. He fought so hard to try to follow his dreams. And that's why I wrote this book and I talk about following your dreams. I am fully aware of how many dreams don't come true.
Oh, most.
But it doesn't mean that you don't continue to pursue them. Because I can promise you this, when you pursue your dreams, believe it or not, maybe not all of the dream becomes a reality, but some of it will. And it will make you a better person for it. And my father struggled so hard to follow his dreams. He loved ballroom dancing. It was his life. He taught my family ballroom dancing. My sister and I competed in ballroom dancing. He even tried to get ballroom dancing into the Olympics.
Oh, I wish that had happened.
My father actually passed on before Dancing with the Stars really took hold.
Oh.
I mean, he was there at the very beginning, at the end of what that is. And, ballroom dancing is kind of, people know about it more today than they did 20 years ago.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because of Dancing with the Stars. And so there was a resurgence of people wanting to really dance a lot more than they had during my father's life. I mean, ballroom dancing was a big deal when he was younger.
Right.
He went to Broadway and performed out there in musicals, and then started his own studios. But I can just tell you that he struggled. He really wanted it to be bigger than it ever was for him in his life. But he did tell me, he said, as he aged, that he was so proud of his children because he lived his dreams through us and watched our dreams become a reality. So when you realize that there is someone who struggled as hard as they possibly could to position their family in a way that they could follow their dreams as well, then that was a big part of it. So
that is so cool. I love that.
So thrilled for my father. And I was so thrilled for what he did for his children, to tell us that we needed to follow our own personal dreams, to of course be obligated to what you need to do to take care of your family, but never give up on the dreams. And he literally just said, I've lived my dreams through you.
Well, I'm just going to say this because I've said it before. I'm going to say it again in case the right person's listening. I want to see you, Rick Thomas, on Dancing with the Stars. No, I do. I know you can dance.
I did try to go on Dancing with the Stars, and it was literally when they first began the series, I knew at that point, I can do this. I'm a ballroom dancer. I have my own show in Las Vegas. I think I'm enough of a star to get on television. I got a hold of them. I was considered, and they actually chose Penn Jillette from Penn and Teller.
I remember.
And he went on Dancing with the Stars, and he was, I think, knocked off the first episode.
It was pretty quick.
From that point forward, I never had a chance again. I continued to pursue it, but it was fun. It was fun to just be part of the process, and that's my story.
I want you to try it again because I want to see you do it. I know you could do it. I would love to see it. I want to see you do the cha-cha and all that tango and all that stuff.
Hard part is what kind of star do you need to be for them to consider?
All kinds.
I'm now performing in Branson. I'm living a extremely wonderful life, but it's not as much as what I was doing in Las Vegas, so to speak. Oh, Rick Thomas, this or that. So I'm not pushing myself down a rung or two, but
I think you still got way enough quote star power to do that. I mean, my gosh, you even see Olympic athletes on there well after the games.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I think there's plenty of room for you, and I would love to see you do it. Okay. Challenge thrown.
Right. Throw my hat back in the ring.
Got the gauntlet down.
Actually, Dancing with the Stars was going to be canceled, I think, this last year, and Disney just bought it. So they have been saved.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had made their final season announcement, and then the ownership, I think, was transferred, and I think that who knows how long it will go.
Okay, we'll see.
But it's been almost 20 years.
I know.
So many people like, what? And that kind of tells you how fast life goes by.
Oh, I know that.
For those of you who remember Dancing with the Stars,
yes.
You can go, you got to be kidding me. It's been on television that long? Yes, it has.
Oh, yeah, we used to watch it on the air when I was on the air in the evenings. That was one of our evening shows to watch while we anchored the news. But hey, see, it's gotten a reprieve, which means we can say that is a sign that you need to go for it.
Yeah, but it has to be a current dream of mine.
I just made it one.
I have to really want to go back to do so. Yeah, you know what though? It would be a blast.
Yes,
it'd be a lot
would.
of fun. It'd be good for me.
And you don't have a mirror ball trophy yet, so you need one.
No, I don't.
Well, there you go.
No,
there you go.
And that's the one thing I don't put in my show is mirror balls. I leave them out of the show. You won't see a mirror ball in my show.
I have one in my garage.
Oh, there you go.
In my garage. So you can go in my garage and turn on a mirror ball light with a spotlight. Yeah.
every time you pull the car into the garage.
Don't ask.
The light goes on and the mirror ball starts to spin.
Don't ask why. I can't even tell you why, but yes, I love all of that. I love shiny. I love glitzy. I love neon. And so, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
It is. It's fun. But I love the fact that although your dad didn't get everything he wanted, he saw you kids doing it, and that made him happy. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, when he sat in the casinos and the theaters and watched my show in Vegas,
Yeah.
I knew that mentally he had found his peace, and he was a good man, and I believe that he truly was happy to see where his family. He should be proud. Like I said, there's sometimes it's right in front of your face, the actual goals that you have that you don't realize are so important. And one is he raised an amazing group of people who are now adults who live amazing lives, and it's because of he and my mother. So 2 things: celebrate your mother because she gave birth to you on your birthday, and dads, those that have a relationship with them, you should find a way to thank them as well. And of course, Father's Day is coming up, and I know that these things are set up for us to do that specifically on a certain day, but sometimes there are experiences that you have that will cause you to reach out to your parents and let them know, even today, if it's not a special day, how much you appreciate them in your life. So if you'll let me share this story about a father, this was a big deal for me. It really touched my life, and I want to make sure that I don't just continue to share a whole bunch of words that don't mean anything, but this story, it meant a lot.
Okay.
And while in Vegas, I had a tiger encounter for people who actually attended the show, and I brought all the tigers back on stage after the show for this tiger encounter, and then allowed the public to stay there in the theater, and we'd have questions and answers. And it became a huge success. People had a great time, and all the tigers were brought onto the stage. They were placed in front of the public, and I just sat there and answered questions and shared with them stories about my life. And I remember at one point there was a father and son who came to that performance, and I was outside the theater in the front box office area, and this gentleman was there with his son, and they walked up to me and introduced themselves. His son was probably somewhere between 20 and 25 years old. I didn't really, I couldn't quite get his exact age, but he obviously had life challenges, physically and mentally. He did not speak. His father held on to him tightly to hold his balance, but his son showed massive enthusiasm. He was, I looked at his eyes, and I looked at him being there, and his father said, "We're here to see your show, but we're truly here to experience the tiger experience after your show. My son loves tigers, and we are so excited to be here." And there's no question about it. I could tell that they literally were there to see the tigers. His son voiced his opinion about the scenario, and I was extremely touched. And I can tell you that for 2 hours, as I presented my show, the only thing I could think of was this father and his son enjoying the tiger encounter after the production. So the audience comes back in, tigers are on stage, and this father is sitting in the back with his son, so they don't disturb the rest of the audience. And I can see them, but the audience cannot. So everybody's facing me. They're talking to me and looking at the tigers, but I see everyone, including this fine gentleman and his son, sitting behind them in the back. And I am watching them and just enjoying the enthusiastic response that I'm getting talking about tigers and this fine young man. And there was a large cup of soda that they had in their cup holder.
Right.
And this young man was so excited he was jumping up and down when the tigers were on the stage.
Wow.
And he hit the drink. I saw him hit the drink, and it went all over him.
Oh no.
And it just covered him. Now, if you're sitting in a movie theater and your drink gets all over you and your popcorn spills, even those of us who may have our wits about us, it's not a very good moment.
No.
And, you jump up, you get mad, whatever. Well, it was the same way with this particular scenario, this situation. This young man didn't take it well. He was furious with himself, very upset.
Oh.
And the father knew at that moment that the best thing for the entire scenario was to take hold of his son and take him out of the theater.
Oh, no.
In front of the audience, I began to cry.
Oh.
Now, I'm hoping the audience didn't realize it, because all I started to do was rub my eyes.
Right.
Because it broke my heart. It broke my heart that the one family, gentleman and his son, that I really wanted to truly enjoy this moment, left the theater.
Right.
They walked out, and I knew that their moment was over. And I continued to try and keep my wits about me and share my thoughts on the topic. My mind was gone at that moment.
Yeah, I would guess.
It was just a moment that I'd wished didn't happen.
Sure.
So it was just frustrating. And I was trying to keep my smile going and the audience not know what's going on. And about 5 minutes later, I see out of the corner of my eye the father and son come back into the theater. And what made me even show a much more emotional response than when they left was when they came back in. And the father had taken his clothes and put them on his son.
Oh, gee.
And he had taken his son's clothes and put it on himself.
Oh, gee.
And they had left, and they had completely changed their clothes. And the father was completely drenched in soda.
Oh,
and the son was now there in a clean set of clothes and walked into the theater as though nothing had happened. It had completely changed his mind. They sat back down. They enjoyed the rest of the presentation. Now you think to yourself, why am I becoming emotional?
Oh, my God, because that's such a
becoming
thing to
emotional
do.
because
God.
there was a father who was wise enough to know what he needed to do to take care of somebody else, to give them their dreams, to do something for them, to help them with their life. It was no skin off the father's back. It was not a big deal for him. But I thought to myself at that time, would I have been a father? Could I be a father to have enough mental capacity about me to have realized what I needed to do to help a son, a daughter, a friend, a relative, whatever it is, to assist in that moment? And I applauded that. I never got a chance to say anything to that gentleman and his son when they left. They did leave abruptly after the show. There were so many people that just literally stopped me from going out the doors. And I tried to chase after them. But that man, whoever he is, with his lovely son, taught me a huge lesson. And the lesson is, we need more fathers to truly step back just a little bit and just basically figure out what they need to do to take care of their family in the briefest and easiest ways. Did he do something monumental? Well, you can consider just switching out his clothes not monumental, but the moment was. It was, and you know what was strange about it as well? The only person who saw this was me.
Right.
Nobody but I witnessed that moment.
Wow.
And it is something that I needed to see. I needed to realize as a dad to put myself in check and go, wow, now that's a father. Now that's somebody who truly cares. And I think that is a problem that we all have, is thinking too much about ourselves and not everybody else around us. And so I bounce that back to who do you celebrate? That's why I say, do I celebrate myself on my birthday, or how about my mother who actually brought me here? I'm not saying don't celebrate your birthday. I'm not saying be self-indulged. I'm saying step back and realize that there's a lot more to life than celebrating yourself. And because I am so lucky in my life to be celebrated every day on stage, and for people to tell me how amazing the show is and how wonderful everything is that they saw, that's enough for me. And on my birthday, I celebrate my mother. And dads, for this fine gentleman, I am again extremely grateful to a man who taught me a lesson, and he didn't even know he did. And that was take a moment, step back, and figure out how to fix the problem, fix it, and change somebody's life.
You know, I'm hoping, Rick, somehow, just the way the universe sometimes lines up, that man either hears this episode of the podcast or grabs your book and realizes really that somebody noticed and appreciated what he did for his son that day. You know, sometimes the universe just lines up perfectly and something like that could happen. And in this case, I really hope it does. Not that he needs it, but it would just be nice to let him know that you recognized it. That somebody recognized it.
I do. I appreciate it. And yes, if I could scream out to the world, I want to let him know. I know the challenges that man was facing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Dealing with his son, embracing his son, and I can tell you, loving his son.
Yeah.
To see what he did for that young man, and to turn around and see the joy in his son's face.
Yeah.
That all he simply did was change his clothes, put some new clothes on him, go in there and sit and enjoy the rest of this event was a simple thing to do. But it was something that for me was, God, it was massive.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my goodness, what kind of dad am I? Could I have done that? Or would I have just grabbed my son if he was having a fit, take him out of the theater and go home? Right? Right? How many of us would do that?
Probably most. Quite a few.
So bravo to that gentleman.
Yeah.
And for me, the best thing I could have done was put this in the book so that other people could experience what one person had the privilege of seeing. And I do hope that all of us, and I'm saying this again, and I've said it before, how many times do we need to repeat this? We all have a life, and we all have a story to tell. Every one of us. That man told a story to me. That man's life shared his life with me and gave me his story. And I could see everything about that person within just a few moments. So you have a story to tell. I have a story to tell. You need to tell the world. And remember, people are watching.
Oh, yes.
They're watching. And when you think you're not being watched, you are. And your example to the world, whether it be good or bad, is critical to other people's lives. You've got to try to be a positive part of everyone's life in this world. I am so thrilled every day at the end of my show to tell people literally, we all enjoy our lives today because of the people before us. They followed their dreams. You must follow your dreams, not only for yourself, but for the rest of our future.
Yep.
You must, because we're all in this together. So I'm grateful to that. If there are a few things that I shared today that people can do for themselves and their families, one of which is turn your heart to those that have given life to you and thank them on your birthday.
I love it. And, you know, again, just sometimes it's just the simplest of little things that make the biggest impressions, just like that.
And Tammy,
yes.
I am grateful to you. How often I've said before, there'd be no podcast without you.
Well, thank you.
There would be no platform for me to scream to the world the passions that I have in my life and the book that I've shared. I've found that the hardest way to sell a book is to not be a newscaster. Let me explain this. I watch television and I watch the news, and I've realized that everybody has written a book. Okay, books are the thing that if you haven't written a book, you're not a human being.
Oh, but
everybody's
so
written a book.
They're so
it's just I just see it because you have people on the news, and what are they doing? They're talking about the news, and the next thing you know is they're pitching the book they've just written, right? And where they're going to be for the book signing. Well, I don't, at least the podcast is a platform for me to actually share my book. And if you don't purchase the book, you're listening to the podcast and you're realizing how important it is for me to get this out there. So, Tammy, you are the one. I am grateful to you. You need to understand how much I appreciate you taking and allowing me to share this with the world. Please accept my appreciation.
Thank you. And I do. And I love what's in this book because as I've said, when I first read the book, I read it on a plane and people must have thought I was nuts because you had me in tears a couple of times. And it wasn't sad. It was just either the beauty of a story or the revelation in a story that really hit me hard. and attached to my life. And I think people thought I was crazy sitting there reading this book and crying periodically. So there's some wonderful stuff in here, and I want people to understand and hear it too. So the podcast is a little bit of my way of helping the world as well. So it goes both ways. So thank you, Rick.
My pleasure.
We want to talk about one more thing before we end our episode, because this is really important as well. And, oh boy, doing the news every week, as I do, I'm always doing stories about our financial situation in the country and taxes going up and raising the debt ceiling. And, oh my goodness, it's very scary. And banks failing. And, Rick, I know you're very into finance and
Yes.
gold and silver.
Precious metals,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Diversification of your portfolio, if that's a big word to say. The world we live in today is scary.
It is.
And there are a few things that you can invest in that are not man-made. That is the best way I can put it.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, many things that are made by man become worthless as time moves on. That includes our currency. We have what's called a fiat currency, money that was printed by man that at some given point becomes worthless. Throughout all time, all fiat currency, that's currency that's not backed by anything, that a government tells you it's worth only because they tell you that's what it's worth
Today.
today, is the reason it has any worth.
Oh.
But does it have any worth? No, in reality, it does not. It's a mental state of mind, and I can tell you that I have embraced anything that has to do with a world, again, not created by man. What is that? Land, gold, silver, things that hold their innate worth.
Mm-hmm.
Always. So I have embraced gold and silver. Every day I have someone. You know what? I was out with my family the other day. We were doing, strange enough, laser tag with my son. Going out there, and I'm running around being a ridiculous father, doing what my son wants, and
cool.
laser tag with my son. And a gentleman came up to me and he says, "Rick, I've been told that you know a lot about gold and silver." And I said, "I do. I don't know enough, but I know enough to share it with other people." And he says, "Can you help me?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Absolutely. I will do so." And this is a gentleman standing in line with his two daughters. And as they were going through the same scenario we were, just enjoying family time, and he realized who I was from my show, and he just said, "Can you help me?" So I'm going to tell you now, you want to challenge me? Why don't you challenge yourself, and you go online and you sign up to have me call you personally to let me share with you what I know about gold and silver. Do it. Do it for yourself, not for me. I'm really comfortable where I'm at with all of this. I understand it. I'm just there to help. And if I can, I will. So give us a call. Go online. Tammy.
Nothing happens until you dream.com. And you will really get a call. Rick will actually phone you up and talk to you about this. Rick, before we end this episode, I think a lot of people get worried because they say, "I don't have a portfolio."
Yeah,
You say diversify my portfolio. I don't have a portfolio, but everybody does have a portfolio. So help people with that. Let's come up in conversation.
That's why I use the word loosely. A portfolio. Do you have a bank account?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you have a savings account?
Uh-huh.
Do you have a checking account?
Yep.
Do you maybe have a couple stocks?
I do not at this moment.
Okay.
No.
How about an IRA?
I don't have that either anymore.
Okay. Do you have a home? Do you have this?
Yes.
Do you have a home, Tam? You have a home, right?
Yes, indeed.
You have assets.
I do.
That's your portfolio.
There you go.
Okay. You can look at what you have, and you know that all the money that's in the bank, we've seen banks start to collapse.
Oh, my God,
We
yes.
can see things just disappear. Your money in the banks is a whole bunch of zeros and ones on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
I never could understand this before. How does your money in the stock market disappear? If you have cash, you can put it in your bank account. At that point, it becomes zeros and ones.
Right.
It becomes data. Okay. It goes into the stock market as data.
Mm-hmm.
The stocks go up and down,
Right.
but it's not worth anything literally until you pull it back out of the market.
Right.
So when the stocks go down, literally the only thing that are going up and down are just numbers. Your cash isn't worth anything. You're holding on to numbers. You're holding on to stock, but that's why it just disappears, because it didn't kind of really exist in the first place other than just a whole bunch of numbers. You say, well, where'd the money all go?
Mm-hmm.
It's just numbers.
Yeah.
So when you have gold and silver, if you don't hold it, you don't own it.
Mm-hmm.
These are actual tangible items that you can hold on to that the entire world accepts as wealth. And it's just one of those things. Do I have everything invested in gold and silver? No. Because I live a life in this world and we have to be part of it.
Right. Exactly.
And there are so many different things that we need to do to survive with it. But even if it's just buying yourself one silver coin a month, and silver right now is somewhere around $30 an ounce.
Mm-hmm.
Don't quote me on this, but it fluctuates, obviously. But if you just move a little bit of what you have into real money, that's what we call gold and silver. It's real money because it's real. Then you actually have real money. and in the end, it's a good thing that you put it there because it doesn't lose its worth. Go online. I'll give you a call. We'll have a chat about it. And it's my pleasure.
And you do have a portfolio. All of us have one of some sort.
We all have an semblance of something.
There you go.
You have something. You have a car. You have a moped. You have a bicycle.
So now you know.
Assets. If you have assets, you have a portfolio. It's just, where's it all at?
Right.
And, part of it should be protecting yourself with something that's real. That's not man-made.
Yes. The website is simple. It's mansionofdreams.net/wealth. The form is there. It's going to take you all of 22 seconds to fill out the form. It's that simple. And then you'll get the phone call and Rick will explain it to you. So you do have a portfolio. Remember that, though. You do.
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks for joining us this week on Nothing Happens Until You Dream, starring Rick Thomas and featuring Tammy Trujillo, and is based on Rick Thomas's best-selling book, The Tiger Whisker, available on rickthomas.com. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'd love for you to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. And check us out on Patreon for exclusive members-only content. Stay up to date with Rick and Tammy at nothinghappensUntilYouDream.com. Remember, you must follow your dreams, not only for yourself, but for the rest of our future. We'll see you on the next episode.